Front and Center. Front and Center. A focus on important and significant developments affecting the lives of Filipinos, not only in the Philippines, but also those living and working around the world. Join us in Front and Center. Front and Center. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Good day, welcome to Front and Center, where we focus on developments in the Philippines, legislation that provides policies and directions that strives to promote a better economy for the country, issues that concern the welfare and well-being of every Filipino. All of these and more will be Front and Center. You can watch this program live on our Facebook page, that's Radyo Pilipinas World Service. And you can also hear us live on audio streaming at Evox PBS receiver app. So join us for another edition of Front and Center with your host, Jerome Toledo.
Front and Center. Front and Center. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
And yesterday, Philippine Navy and the Armed Forces of the Philippines has confirmed the presence of a Chinese aircraft carrier plus 8 other ships operating off the coast of northern Luzon. So what are those ships and what is their intention for operating on our waters? So let's find out with the spokesperson of the Philippine Navy, Captain John Percy Alcos. Thank you, Captain Alcos, for joining us in the program Front and Center on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Sir Jerome, and to our fellow Filipinos who are watching online and through your Facebook page, a good Navy morning to everybody.
Okay, and the pleasure is ours, Captain Alco. So, thank you. So, let me begin this discussion by asking this. Of course, a Chinese People's Liberation Army Navy aircraft or planned aircraft carrier along with 8 other ships were spotted and monitored operating within the waters of northern Luzon, particularly the Babuyan Islands. So, Captain Alco, so what is the update on this?
Sir, let me begin with this is a result of the modernization program of the Armed Forces of the Philippines and the effectiveness of the comprehensive archipelagic defense concept that extends the conduct and monitoring of naval operations up to the exclusive economic zone. So as early as the 22nd of April, around 3 in the morning, we already detected the presence of an aircraft carrier. Together, actually, it's not just an aircraft carrier, but it's actually a carrier strike group. The People's Liberation Army Navy aircraft carrier was accompanied by 6 warships to include 2 support vessels.
Okay, so you mentioned about the aircraft carriers. So can you tell me what those or what is that aircraft carrier capable of, Captain Alcos?
Sir, these aircraft carriers are normally used to project power at sea. These are normally these aircraft carriers normally have several types of aircrafts on board, to include fighter jets and rotary aircrafts.
And also, that aircraft carrier is being accompanied by 8 Chinese warships. 6 of them are battleships. Is that correct, Captain Alcos?
That is correct. The CV-17 is accompanied by 3 destroyers and 2 frigates, to include a tanker and an auxiliary gathering intelligence warship.
Where is that, or where are those ships heading for? If you have any information, Captain Alcos.
Well, we first detected them around 100 nautical miles northwest of Burgos, Ilocos Sur. This is when they entered the Philippine Exclusive Economic Zone. They were heading towards the Babuyan Islands. We detected them adjacent to the Babuyan Islands, which is an archipelagic sea lane, around 9 in the morning. And the following day, we detected them around 180 nautical miles east of Apari. So they were heading towards the Pacific from west to east.
Okay. All right. And I would like to ask this, Captain. So, is that area a known passageway of ships and maritime vessels? Not just the military ships, but also commercial and also cruise ships, and also fishing vessels.
That their transit was conducted in an internationally recognized maritime corridor.
Mm.
Normally, commercial ships traveling from the west
Mm.
in going to the Pacific normally traverse this particular corridor.
Okay, so it's an international waters. So any ships can pass through without any further actions coming from the Philippine Navy or let's say Taiwanese Navy or Chinese Navy. Is that correct, Captain?
That is true. As
Mm.
stated in the UNCLOS, they can always uh, claim innocent passage
Mm.
by for as long as their transit is expeditious and continuous.
Okay, okay. So, did that particular Chinese naval fleet, if I may say, did something or do something unusual in that particular area when they passed through that channel?
As I mentioned earlier, Sir Jerome, their transit was expeditious and continuous. So they did not
Mm.
stop in any part of the Babuyan Islands.
Mhm.
Uh, as a carrier strike group, they normally conduct naval operations, and that is allowed for as long as they do that during their transit in one of our archipelagic sea lanes.
Oh, okay. So it means it's only a pass through for a short period of time, Captain. So without, they did not something do unusual, like Lloyd staying there for too long.
Oh, not really.
Mm.
They just transited the
Just
area,
transited.
which is normal for not only China, but also even our allies transit that particular corridor. And
Mm.
what is important here is with the effectiveness of the comprehensive archipelagic defense concept, which is outward looking, we can already monitor all
Mm.
warships to include commercial vessels transiting our archipelagic waters.
I see. Okay. Of course. It involves a Chinese warships, and at the same time People's Liberation Army Navy. So, Captain Alcos, do you see the link between the Chinese Navy's operation of its maritime vessels and the ongoing Balikatan exercises, which is happening somewhere off the coast of our northern coastal or territorial waters?
It is well known that the People's Liberation Army Navy is always present whenever there are exercises being conducted in this region, whether it be our neighbors to the north, our neighbors to the west, and even sometimes our neighbors to the south. So this
Mm-hmm.
is we normally expect them to be in the area during these particular exercises.
Okay. So how do you? I would like to ask this, Captain Alco. So how do you determine if a particular ship will pass through? Do you have any? Do you do something like some sort of a challenge?
We normally challenge our warships, even commercial vessels transiting our archipelagic waters. This is to ask them or to inquire where they came from
Mm-hmm.
and where they are heading.
Oh, okay. So yeah, it's a normal thing that it, to introduce the to identify who they are and what are they carrying and what's their purpose of transiting that area.
That is correct, Sir Jerome.
Okay. All right. Moving forward, will the Philippine Navy implement the same action or response on ships that might pass through? Right. It's the same thing that they will you will do in the near future, that a warship or a aircraft carrier, regardless if it's from China, from the United States, from Japan, will Philippine Navy do that?
Well, Sir Jerome, as the vanguard of our seas, directly responsible for the security of our waters, the Philippine Navy has always been on top of monitoring all vessels, whether warships or commercial, transiting our archipelagic waters to include our internal waters.
Okay. All right. So, one last question before we end the interview for today, Captain Alcos. So, can you share us of any available information you have on the participation of the Philippine Navy on this year's Balikatan exercises with the U.S. forces?
Of course, sir. This year, more or less around 3,000 Philippine Navy personnel composed of sailors, Marines, and combat engineers are participating in the Balikatan exercises all over the country. Currently, we are conducting a maritime multilateral exercise west of Zambales and a marine amphibious exercise somewhere in the somewhere in northern Luzon.
Oh, okay. And that will continue until I think the second week of May. Is that correct, Captain Alcos?
Yes, sir. That will continue until around mid-May, just before the Navy anniversary on the 20th.
Oh, the May 20th, right? Is that correct? May 20th?
The Navy anniversary is on the 20th, but the Balikatan exercises will continue until the around the second week of May.
Oh, okay, okay. All right. Okay. So, with that, thank you so much, Captain John Percy Alcos, for joining us in the program, the spokesperson of the Philippine Navy.
Thank you very much, Sir Jerome. Thank you for having us. We would gladly participate in your program in the future.
Okay. Thank you so much, Captain John Percy Alcos, the spokesperson of Philippine Navy.
Front and center. Front and center. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
And more stories coming your way when Front and Center returns.
Front and center. Front and center. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Time to celebrate kulturang Pinoy. Tradisyon, musika, sining, literatura at iba pa. Anything and everything fun and Filipino. Ito ang Pinoy Kultura.
Bahay kubo, kahit munti.
It's a song Filipino mothers teach their kids early on. A sort of teaching song. Natuturo sa mga bata magbigkas ng salitang Pilipino. Of all things, pangalan ng mga gulay. And maybe encourage them to eat vegetables? Everyone knows it. If you don't, hindi ka lumaking batang Pilipino. Wikipedia describes it as a Tagalog folk song that talks about a cube house made of bamboo with a roof of nipa or palm leaves, surrounded by different vegetables found in the Philippines. Wikipedia says it's from the lowlands of Luzon. It's said to have been written by national artist Felipe Padilla de Leon, was first included in the collection of Filipino folk songs in 1924. In 1966, famous soprano Silvia La Torres sang her version of it on her album.
Bahay kubo, kahit munti.
In 1968, Sampaguita Pictures made it into a movie based on the lyrics. Ryan Cayabyab included it in his album. Lea Salonga sang it.
Ang halaman doon ay sari-sari.
The UP Madrigal singers sang it at the 116th anniversary of the First Philippine Republic. Bahay Kubo is a long-lasting legacy. You still hear it today, laman ng mga trivia contest. The number of Filipino school children that have sung the tune are legion, many doing so ad infinitum in school programs, making it the most recognizable and easy-to-remember tunes ever. Oh, naalala mo pa ba? Ilang gulay ang binabanggit sa Bahay Kubo? Can you name them all?
Yan ang Pinoy Kultura because our culture is cool.
Hatol ng bayan. Election
Election Quick Facts. National and local positions. Sa darating na May 12, 2025 midterm elections, ang bawat botanteng Pilipino ay pipili ng mga bagong leaders para sa national and local positions kabilang ang 12 senators, members of the House of Representatives, at party list representatives, at local government officials gaya ng governor, mayor, board members at councilors. Kasabay nito ay idiraos rin ang kauna-unahang Bangsamoro Parliament elections kung saan 25 members of the Parliament at 40 party representatives ang ihahalal ng ating mga kapatid sa BARMM. Hatol ng bayan. Election Quick Facts.
Isipin ang isang lugar kung saan ang progreso at kalikasan ay magkasabay na lumalago. Sa ilalim ng Administrasyon Marcos, ginagawang posible ito ng Subic Bay Metropolitan Authority.
Sa administrasyon po ni PBBM, nilaunch po namin noong September yung Carbon Neutral Freeport Zone. Ito po ay aming goal to contribute reducing our carbon emissions.
Hindi lang ito usapin ng teknolohiya, ito ay pangako. Sa SBMA, inuuna ang pangangalaga sa kagubatan, bakawan at natural na yaman para sa hinaharap ng bawat Pilipino.
We are working towards a steady and reliable power supply that will meet the demands of today and continuously fuel our ambitions for tomorrow.
Ang kalikasan at kinabukasan ay magkasabay na pinangangalagaan. Sa pamahalaang Marcos, ang bagong Pilipinas nakikita na. Sa nagbabagong Pilipinas, patuloy ang trabaho, patuloy ang pagbabago.
This is a public service announcement.
Maging handa sa oras ng sakuna. Para sa iyo at sa iyong pamilya, laging siguruhin. Go Bag ay nakahanda at naglalaman ng mga sumusunod. Ilang pirasong damit, ready-to-eat na pagkain at inuming aabot ng 3 araw. Personal na gamit para sa inyong hygiene. First aid kit kabilang ang alcohol, bandages, gamot sa lagnat, ubo at sipon, pati na rin ang inyong vitamins at maintenance medicines. Maglagay ng pito, flashlight, lighter o posporo. Huwag kalimutan ang mga charger o power bank. At higit sa lahat, isama ang mga importanteng gamit gaya ng inyong mga legal na dokumento, IDs, ATM o passbook, insurance at iba pa.
This is a public service announcement. Public service announcement
From PBS, Presidential Broadcast Service and Radyo Pilipinas.
This is a public service announcement.
Isang paalala.
This is a public service announcement.
Isang paalala mula sa National Telecommunications Commission, National Capital Region o NTC-NCR. Ang kanilang Oplan Contra Tax Scams. Oplan Contra Tax Scams. Binabalaan ng publiko na sakaling kayo ay makatanggap ng kakaibang text messages sa mga di kilalang numero o di kaya ay mga text messages na may kahina-hinalang mga link. Huwag pansinin, huwag pindutin, huwag i-click ang link.
Huwag i-click ang link.
Ipagbigay alam agad sa NTC website ntc.gov.ph o kaya'y sumulat sa kanilang email na contratextcam@gmail.com. Sa mga panahong ito, huwag padaya, maging wais na madla. Makibahagi sa Oplan Contra Text Scam.
This is a public service announcement. Public service announcement
From PBS, Presidential Broadcast Service and Radyo Pilipinas.
Ito ang Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Ang online digital platform station ng Presidential Broadcast Service, Bureau of Broadcast Services. Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Nagsisilbing makabagong tulay sa paghahatid ng balita, impormasyon at mga programa para sa mga Pilipino sa iba't ibang panig ng mundo gamit ang online services sa inyong mga social media application. Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Ang online digital station ng Pilipino para sa Pilipino, saan mang dako ng mundo.
Front and center. Front and center. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Welcome back to Front and Center. Let's focus now on the foreign policy as Senator Francis Tolentino dropped a bombshell as he presented evidence linking the Chinese embassy to the Philippines to the proliferation of troll farm operations in the country. At the third hearing of the Senate Special Committee on Philippine Maritime and Admiralty Zones regarding espionage and underwater drones, Senator Tolentino presented a copy of a service agreement contract between the Infinitus Marketing Solutions Incorporated and the Embassy of the People's Republic of China in the Philippines for the provision of quote-unquote keyboard warriors that will play a vital role in the overall effectiveness of the issue management project. Senator Tolentino stressed that service agreement contract presented in the hearing would reinforce reports from security sector regarding the different hacking and spying activities conducted by Chinese nationals. Senator Tolentino, who described the recovery of drones and espionage activities as just the tip of the iceberg, said his revelations today uncovered the breadth and depth of China's interference initiatives to the detriment of the country. Tolentino also presented a copy of a check issued by the Chinese embassy to the order of Infinitus Marketing for the amount of 930,000 pesos as payment for the activities mentioned in the service contract. Tolentino voiced disgust that such contracts threaten our national dignity. Meanwhile, the National Security Council Assistant Director General Jonathan Malaya supported Tolentino's revelations, saying that the latter is consistent with how the People's Republic of China operates. And to recall, Senator Tolentino championed the Republic Act number 12064 or the Maritime Zones of the Philippines Act and Republic Act number 12065 or the Archipelagic Sea Lanes Act in the Philippine Senate.
Front and center. Front and center. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
Still on the Senate, the Senate Committee on Migrant Workers Chairperson Senator Raffy Tulfo on April 24th convened a consultative meeting in the Senate with Seafarers Union, Manning Agency, Seafarers' Wives, and other stakeholders to hear their thoughts on the Magna Carta of Filipino seafarers. Senator Tulfo called for a meeting amidst the spread of misleading information about the law, such as the false claim that seafarers' salaries have been reduced because of the Magna Carta, something that is not in any of the law's provision that particularly pointing to the Magna Carta of seafarers. And Senator Tulfo clarified that the confusion may stem from the new 80% mandatory allotment provision. And previously, this allotment was calculated only from a seafarer's monthly basic salary. And however, under the implementing rules and regulation of the law, the fixed or guaranteed overtime pay is now also included in computing the 80% allotment. And this provision remains fair since, according to Attorney Henry Zamora of the Associated Marine Officers and Seamen's Union of the Philippines, or AMASUP, the IRR allows seafarers to name more than one allottee. This means 80% of the basic salary goes to their family, while the 80% of the fixed overtime pay can be designated as a self-allotment, which effectively becomes their personal savings when they return to the Philippines. Or Ariane Rocha, the president of the Seafarers Family Group, expressed disappointment that many seafarers she spoke with are unaware of the law's good intention. Many mistakenly believe the government is deducting from their salaries, which is not true, adding that some entities demonize the law for their personal gains. Meanwhile, Grace Gelvoleo and Mirna Durian, both seafarers' wives and members of women championing seafarers' families, said they have no issues with the Magna Carta, especially when they receive their allotments directly. However, Durian noted that those who often complain are seafarers with second families or other women. Senator Tulfo also brought up concerns about exchange rates following reports from seafarers that some agencies are allegedly shortchanging them by manipulating the dollar to peso conversion. Captain Antonio Ladera, the president of the Association of Licensed Manning Agencies, or ALMA clarified that the law clearly states the applicable exchange rate should be the same date when the ship owner remits the salary, and this should be reflected on an electronic or physical payslip provided by the manning agency. Meanwhile, the Department of Aid or Department of Migrant Workers or DMW Secretary Hans Leo Kakdak for his part said that any deduction by the agency from a seafarer's salary under these circumstances will be considered an unlawful deduction, punishable by suspension of the agency's operation for 6 months to 2 years or even revocation of their operating permit. Lastly, Senator Tulfo ordered all manning agencies to ensure an aggressive information and education campaign in partnership with the DMW and Overseas Workers Welfare Administration or OWA to ensure that seafarers are properly informed, especially regarding the crucial provisions of the law.
Front and center. Front and center. Here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service.
And with that concludes this edition of Front and Center. Together with Radyo Pilipinas World Service production team and technical personnel, this is your host, Jerome Toledo. Until next time, mabuhay, love the Philippines.
You have just heard and watched Front and Center. Front and Center. Join us again for another edition here on Radyo Pilipinas World Service. Front and Center.